it's an exciting week of boxing, man. You guys know about your mainstream content creators. If there's not like a big American fight, they don't promote the sport. But we promote all the fights on the channel so far this week. We've gone from Doncaster, England, with Harper versus Zimmerman. I already covered that fight. If you haven't seen that video, it's in the playlist. If you have any questions about that fight, shoot them. We've covered the Maxie Hughes versus Archie Sharp, which is the co-main on the Harper Zimmerman card. If you have questions about that or the odds, I got the odds up here in Australia. Shoot those questions through. Last night, I uploaded the fight going down in Osaka, Japan, a world title fight at 126 between Angelo Leo and Kameda. Now, we could focus on that fight if you want. We could focus on any of the fights if you have questions on. If you haven't seen my breakdown, analysis, and prediction of the Leo versus Kameda fight, shoot. And I'm currently editing my the Lee McGregor versus, and that's an interesting fight in terms of the odds, Nathaniel Collins. Been asking a lot of the people I know going to my little network who they like in the Nathaniel Collins Lee McGregor fight. It's been a mixed bag, and I think that's because what's at stake in that fight. The reason why the bettors are loving that fight is because where the odds are. Now, if you look at a lot of the odds this week, I mean, Maxie Hughes is $1.26. I know people who are taking the underdog Sharp just because of the odds, right? Now, when you're looking at McGregor versus Collins, right now, as we speak, the money on McGregor Collins is literally, it keeps shifting. Nathaniel Collins is $1.51. Lee McGregor's $2.80. Now, I'll never tell you to bet a fight or to gamble on a fight based on the odds. All of my predictions, I just want to let you guys know and clarify, are based on my research, my analysis, and my knowledge of the sport and my knowledge of the fighters, because a lot of times the odds could be misleading. So wherever you guys are, be sure to like this video. It helps with the algorithm. Comment below. Let me know what you guys are up to. Good morning to you, Jay. It's early morning. It's 8 a.m. here in Sydney, Australia, Wednesday. If you got a lot of the 50% of the people who subscribe to my channel are American. So it's Tuesday night where you guys are. I know we got some NBA basketball coming up in a few hours, but boxing is my bread and butter. Let the questions fly in. I want to talk about that Angelo Leo versus Kameda fight. Now, that's an interesting fight. Kameda is a guy, he's from Japan. He speaks fluent Spanish, 7 a.m. Japan. Yeah, you got some good fights in Japan in the next few days, Jay. I wish I was in Japan to see that fight. I've been to Japan twice. It's one of my favorite countries. It's been about 15 years, though. I went to Japan in 2008, 2009. Who do you have winning the Alan Fisher? Killamas. That was on my prop, on my money line, bet line. I didn't take the bet, so I kept the heavyweights off. But in terms of my prop bets, method of victory, I picked Johnny winning that fight. And hats off to David Allen, man. He fought a professional fight. His game plan was perfect, and he did exactly. The first few rounds watching that fight, it looked like it looked like the same exact fight that happened the first time, and then you started seeing the output on Fisher go up and Allen's defense get a little tighter, and you started seeing the trap that Allen was setting. And I talked about it in my breakdown analysis of that fight. Even though I picked Fisher to win, I always do on my breakdown videos. I say that how each fighter will win if they do win. And I said Allen's strengths are his professionalism, his ring experience, and the guys he's been in there with. And just watching him defend, watching his output, Allen wasn't throwing a lot on any of his punches. He was just conserving his energy until he started seeing Fisher wilt. And then that's when you see the professionalism and what a knockout. And, it was a brutal knockout. I know there was some controversy on it. Some of the guys were saying that Fisher's corner should have stopped it after the first knockdown in the fifth. But I think a lot of those were the bettors, because I know a lot of the guys who follow my channel were taking under 1.5 knockdown money line or under 1.5 prop bet, and he got knocked down twice. So, in gambling, guys, there's a lot of, like currently right now, people are talking about Maxie Hughes has an ankle injury. So I know a lot of people on my channel are saying Hughes has an ankle injury, and this is why they're picking Archie Sharp and everything. Checking Hughes' Instagram, checking Hughes' coach. I go to Maxie Hughes' barber. He's training. I don't see an ankle injury. And to be honest with you, I think a lot of that is what happens in the gambling universe, the gambling ethos. Guys like creating narratives to support their bet. Maybe it's that. I don't see Archie Sharp beating Maxie Hughes at all. What's up, Fresh BX? What up, Killamos? Let me know who you guys like. We got some locks coming up. I'm going to give you my for sure locks this Friday morning, your Thursday night. If you hear that drilling, I apologize. The guys on my property behind me are doing some work. Right now, what we got, we're building our parlay throughout the week. I'm loving Maxie Hughes money line. These are my money lines. Maxie Hughes money line, $1.26. Terry Harper money line, $1.10. I'm taking Angelo Leo to beat Kameda. That should be a tough fight. But Angelo Leo and Kameda have they've been sparring partners before. Years ago. I think where they are in their career, even though Leo's only 2 years younger than Kameda, based on Kameda's career and pro rounds, almost triple the pro rounds, I just think we've seen the best of them, and it's going to be a firefight. That entire fight's going to happen in close proximity. I just think Leo's going to have too much for Kameda. Anything could happen. He's on my money line parlay for now, and right now I like Josh Taylor on a money line. Those are not my locks, though. You got to wait to the end of the week for my locks. If you didn't catch my breakdown of the Leo versus Kameda fight, that's on the channel now. Ask away. We'll do this as long as you guys are asking. Taylor ain't winning this weekend. Killamos. So you think Esimo's going to beat Taylor? I know that's. I like Echo. You know, right now I don't know where you got where your books are. Kilo. What are the odds where you're coming from? Because right now Josh is $1.36 and Esimon's $3.50. So look. I just think when it comes to these odds and where Taylor's at in his career, people have been saying his whole career he should have been fighting at 47. So I've heard people trying to spin the narrative that, you know, Josh Taylor moving up from 40 to 47, we don't know how he's going to look. A lot of people in Taylor's camp feel that he's going to look great. They say that he should be fighting at 47 his entire career. Is Esimon on that level? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, he looked good in his last fight. You know, the part of matchmaking in boxing is matching your fighter up with their skill set in terms of where their career is. We know Josh Taylor is world class. Is Esumon world class? That's always a question I ask myself when I'm taking money out the bank, per se, and I'm taking stacks out to bet on a fighter. That should be your first question to yourself on every fight you bet on. It shouldn't be the odds. And this is where I always tell people, when people bet the odds, you might hit every now and then, but you're not going to find consistency. You have to have methods of betting in terms of reality. And that should be your first question when you're betting. Is said fighter world class? Is his opponent world class? Once you get to that, then you go resume. World class, world class, world class, no? Okay, I'm leaning with this guy if he's world class. If they're both world class or if they're both domestic, then you go resume. You ask that same question about the resume. Have they fought anyone on the world class level? Yes, no, and said, and so on and so forth. This is how I gamble. This is how I bet. With my money, you know, my money line percentages are, I mean, look what I've done in the last month. So it speaks for itself. Taylor ain't winning this fight. Can you post parlays? I don't want to sit through the vids. Pull up, boy. I post the parlays at the end of the week. Go to my post section. You'll always see my parlays. I appreciate your honesty, though. Yeah, I always post my parlays. But you got to understand, it's only Wednesday here in Sydney. The odds aren't going to... We don't even have all of the offered fights until the end of the week. And we know Japan's fighting before the UK. So I'm going to put my parlay together in about 36 hours. And just go to my post section. You'll see it. One of my methods is reliable. Is the fighter reliable? It's a great method. You're welcome. Guys, wherever you are, like this video. Keep commenting. Let me know who you're leaning on. I know a lot of people. There's a lot of money going on Archie Sharp. Just seeing people in the comment section. There's a lot of people liking also Lee McGregor. Because of the odds. So, you know, you guys know how I feel about the Maxie Hughes Archie Sharp fight. I'll be uploading the Nathaniel Collins Lee McGregor fight. That's a fun fight. If you guys are boxing fans and you don't know those guys, that's two Scottish boxers fighting in Scotland. It's on the undercard of the Josh Taylor fight. It's a great fight for the country of Scotland. It's a great fight for both fighters. Both guys think they're at the world level, and we're gonna know a lot about them. When I break down Collins versus McGregor, right now I'm siding with Collins in terms of speed, reflexes, and what he does in terms of how he throws his punches. But it could go either way. I'll give you my prediction tonight. Did some film study. I think McGregor is the pick. A lot of people, 79, are thinking McGregor is the pick. I don't know. I just think that I like Collins. I like what he does. His slickness. I like his speed. I like his head movement. Some of the variables I'm actually leaning with the favorite Nathaniel Collins, but I'll make that I'll make that official later on tonight. I could see Lee McGregor winning. Dude, that arena is going to be ridiculous in Scotland. We also have... There's a fight in Mexico. It's a rematch. And if you guys are odds bettors, because I know a lot of you guys like betting odds, that's another close one. You got Wilibaldo Perez taking on Rene Bibiano. And that's almost... Both of those are almost double money. Right now, Bibiano Perez is $1... Wilibaldo Perez is $1.77. And Bibiano is $2.30. So, I don't know if I'll be able to cover that fight, but I think I might throw that on my money line. So, you're going to have to stay tuned. Currently, on my money line, if you're building it together, like, it's only the middle of the week, guys. I understand if you want to catch the odds ahead of the game and you want to make your bets now, you still got like 3 or 4 days. So, be patient. A lot of the guys I know who lose money, they're not patient. They'll hit or they'll make their bets impulsively, and if they lose, they try to chase. You'll make more money being patient and choosing whether you just pick on, like I bet a lot on American football and I bet a lot on boxing. I don't do videos on American football, but my niche is boxing, analytically, film study, everything. But because it's only Wednesday morning here in Australia, I'm in no rush. I'm in no rush to solidify my parlay or my method of victories. I got to see the weigh-ins. I'm a big weigh-in guy. I want to see their body language. Right, and look, guys, last week, when I gave you guys my finished parlay midweek, I switched 2 fighters, and that's why I hit. Initially, I had Luau over Fawcett in Australia, and I had Toesi over Ivic, but then we switched those, and we ended up hitting based on what we saw at the weigh-ins. So that's something to think about. You get a lot of good information at the weigh-ins if you're a really serious bettor, if you really are into the minutia of the sport. You can watch their body language. You can see if they made weight. You should see the statistics of fighters who miss weight in terms of their winning ratio. So that's something to think about. Did some film study. What website you use to watch the fights? See, so I'm down here in Australia. I got my hands tied in terms of I pay for everything. So the Hollywood fights, like the Boachuk fight, and there's Johnny Mansour. Johnny Mansour is an American amateur. He's fighting this weekend. UFC Fight Pass. Now, all the other fights, like when we watched, who last weekend? My mind's slipping because I'm so focused on these. DAZN. DAZN's one of them. And then we have one in Australia called KO Sports, KAYO, and that's all the pay-per-view. So we have 3 main ones, UFC Fight Pass, DAZN, and KO Sports. Bibiano is the better, in my opinion, 79. Perez is getting up there. Yep, age is better odds, the truest 50-50 fight. Yeah. I know you don't love over and under, but Leo over is a great bet. I believe 79. It's not that I don't love him. I don't feel confident in him. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you listening, and you have a good memory, and I like your insight. So 79 pros, you definitely know what you're talking about. I listen to you when you give me that insight, and then I use it to my knowledge. And that's what I use my channel for. You guys teach me equally as much. If you're just learning the sport, if you're into the sport, then I teach you. Guys, could you like this video? It matters with my channel. It matters with the algorithm. A lot of you guys were commenting last week about how you were thanking me that I give you my parlays and I don't charge you anything. I would never do that. I would never put my picks behind a paywall. All you could do, the least you could do is just like the video. That's all I ask. Ignored Bacoli at the weigh-in. It almost cost me. I think the weigh-in is important for a certain fight. True. Yeah. And then Fresh BX. The more you know about the sport, you know the history of the fighter. Right? And you know if the guy's going to come in heavy or if the guy cuts a lot of weight. And that's where the weigh-in you could use analytically to your favor. KO Sports is the same as Foxtel main event. Yeah, Afro Jam. I think they merged recently. So, yeah. Jimmy Tram. Okay, Zach Braff. I've never heard that one before. Reynero Garcia. Hello. Tienes Pareja. ¿Cómo estás, mijo? ¿Cómo te llamo? What does Zach Braff know anything about fighting? Jimmy Tran. Whatever you want to know, mate. So, guys, we got... I like the 50-50 fight, the Garcia versus Bibiano, $1.77, $2.30. Some of the boys are leaning towards Bibiano based on age, even though I think that first one was a draw. That's one rematch. And if you guys back on the Lee McGregor versus Nathaniel Collins, they did fight in the amateurs. Some of you guys were posting on the community section that Nathaniel Collins lost to McGregor in the amateurs. It's an amateur fight. They're wearing gloves. They're wearing headgear. It was 10 years ago. Both guys have different careers. The thing about Nathaniel Collins I am hesitant on, they call it life-altering surgery or life-saving surgery about a year and a half ago on his intestines. And so you could see when he weighs in that big scar. He is undefeated. He has fought since. You got to wonder, though, the durability of going to the body. So, and then you also have to wonder, Lee McGregor, knowing that, how much he'll go to the body. So that's something to think about if you're still torn, which I am on who I'm going to pick. Reyno Garcia, where are you coming from, man? Tell me where you guys are coming from. I'm streaming from Sydney. A lot of the guys here are from America. We got some Filipino guys in here. Like the video. Let me know who your favorite boxer is. We got a lot of fights this weekend. We're covering the Japanese fights. We're covering the fights in Mexico. There's my guy. Still haven't checked Nick Gers. YouTube, yeah, he's in my notes, mate. Nick Gers, I have him written down here. I know his record because of you. YouTube Zach 23-2. You know, I got him here, man. It just takes time. Just so you know. What's that say? YouTube. Nick Gers. So you got to give me time to get on him. I appreciate your persistence. I'm not going to do you dirty. I got you. Sugar Nunez, Ratishi. Come on, man. It's hard to bet against Nunez. The over is 400 on McGregor. I would take it if it was a little bit better. Yeah, so, you know, it's going to come down to if I could get 2-1. Guys, when we're talking about locks, if I could get 2-1 on Harper, Leo, we'll see. As the week goes on, I think I'm going to go really heavy on 4 fights. If I could get 2-1 odds on 4 fights that I feel locks on, I'll let you know. Right now, we're building our parlay. We got Hughes, Harper, Leo, and Taylor. Based on Angelo Leo, over his last, he's had 3 stoppages over his last 4 fights. He's sitting on his punches. When you look at Kameda's career, his activity, how many rounds he has, a lot of people were stoked on that stoppage. If you take Leo to stop Kameda, even though Kameda's never been stopped, that's $1.85. It's just something to think about. I know a lot of you guys got screwed last week with Boacek stopping Fox, and he didn't. So East LA, Diego Pacheco, big fan of Diego. That kid's young. What he did to Terrence Crawford's sparring partner, he looked good early. Hopefully, you know, he's just going to get better and better. South African in the house, yes, sir. Shakur over everybody. I'm a big Shakur Stevenson fan. You know that. He, growing up as a boxer, my favorite boxer is Pernell Whitaker. So as I get older and guys come up, Shakur reminds me of Pernell. I think Shakur's going to show a lot against El Camarón, and that's going to be a great fight. That pressure should serve Shakur well, and he should also know that's just going to be a great fight. I'm excited for both guys to get their feature there. There's a few possible fights of the year this weekend and during the week in Japan. Yeah. I got Angelo Leo, Nunez, and Josh Taylor. I like it. I feel you on that. I think Nunez isn't fighting this weekend though. I don't think Nunez is fighting this weekend unless we're talking about somebody else. You know, you can't see with the face. You know, we can't see that with the face front cam. Can't see what? Boacek, weak performance. He barely scraped it. Yeah, you know, he came in 5 pounds overweight. You know, Michael Fox was a tricky southpaw. It looked to me Boacek was getting rounds in, and he was a mover. So we saw Boacek, what he looked like against Virgil. And what do you guys always say? What do we always say? Styles make fights. I think more importantly, rather than Boacek had a bad performance, I think there might have been a blueprint that Fox gave to future opponents for Boacek on how to fight Boacek. Circle away from his right hand. You know, Boacek struggled a bit to cut the ring off. And against a mover, it's really not the fight that the fans wanted to see. You put Boacek up against a Virgil. You put Boacek up against a Murtazaev. You put Boacek up against a Tim Tszyu. I think those are different fights, and I think those are fights that fans want to see. But you put Boacek up against a mover, and I don't want to say he wasn't exposed. He won the fight, but he wasn't the same guy we saw against Virgil because Fox wasn't going to adhere to that type of fight. Virgil did, and that's why it's exciting. Nunez is going to knock the guy out, in my opinion. He's not a mover. He's there to get hit. South Africa, Bud Crawford's love Bud Crawford. What's not to like about Bud? You know, champion at 35, 40, 47, won a belt at 54. What's the last time Maxie Hu fought back-to-back counterpuncher? Archie Sharp got banana peel vibes. Yeah, I'm not confident in Archie Sharp, man. I've watched all of his tape. Watched that Arce fight. I just don't, he's never fought at 35. He's a smaller guy. I just don't think he's world class, and I think Maxie Hughes is going to come in there and big brother him. I really do. Sharp versus Hughes is the fight I'm most torn on. See, the fight I'm most torn on is McGregor versus Collins, but I can see why. Even the Angelo Leo fight scares me. Even though, I'm confident Leo wins. In that division, because of the volume, anything can happen. And Kameda is a former world champion. He's fighting on the undercard. Takea. Okay, I'll check that out on Wednesday. See, Afro, I don't have those. I don't even have fights on my. Australia's not even showing me Wednesday fights. Nathaniel Collins is a lock in my opinion. I like that. Okay. I like Nathaniel Collins. That's who I'm leaning with. A lot of the guys are leaning with McGregor. I don't know. I don't know what they see that I don't see. I think Nathaniel Collins is a better boxer. I think he has the better skills. I think he's faster. Have you done research on Todoroki Shinigeo? I got asked about that fight. Not yet, man. Not yet. It's in my notes, though. You asked me yesterday, and I'm going to look at it today. I said that fight would go the distance. He's not smaller. Archie is bigger. I'm talking weight class and frame. I'm not talking height. Archie's never fought at 135. Hughes has fought at 35. He's a little bit more stout, thicker in the hips. That's what I mean. I'm curious, how much tape do you watch, Johnny? I watch, in terms of the tape that I watch, the videos that I cover. So if you go on my channel and see all my analysis, edited videos, those are the ones I bet on week to week, is what I'm saying. All I do is watch boxing. Nunes versus Rikishi is a good fight. Rikishi has one-punch power. He's Ibuki's brother. Nunes is like a small, better beef. Afro Jam, you know your shit. Yeah, man, they're not even I'm pissed that I'm just finding out about these Wednesday night fights. Down here in Australia, they're only giving me the Mexico card, the Tokyo card, the card in Scotland, the card in Doncaster, and then the card in America. I don't see. Is that? Yeah, nothing's even. The first fight on my ticket is Maxie Hughes Saturday morning at 6 a.m., which is your Friday night. So yeah, maybe it's a good thing. I'm sold on McGregor's power and volume. I think if Collins can't keep the distance the whole fight, then McGregor has a great fight. He killed himself to make 130 versus Ryan Gardner. Everyone references that Ryan Gardner fight, but I always go. I look at fighters for what they look like at their best and what they look like at their worst. I'm in the UK. Afro Jam in the house. So Afro Jam, who do you like? So who are your locks, Afro, in Doncaster? You obviously are going to take Harper over Zimmerman. I don't even know how Zimmerman got that fight. And then how do you think Josh Taylor does, Afro? Do you think Taylor beats that in Scotland? Do you think he wins against Essuman? I like Willabaldo in the rematch. Okay, Sapphire, good call. I'm glad you brought this up because that's the one I'm torn on. Is the Willabaldo fight, the rematch in Mexico, fighting Bibiano? You like Willabaldo. I thought mostly bullied Calixto in the first fight. Yeah, some people are siding with Calixto because of they're saying Willabaldo's up there in age and rounds. Collins has much better feet and movement overall. Yeah, that's what, Victor, the movement patterns. That's why I like Collins. That, especially at that weight class, 126 pounds. When you look at the best fighters in the world, you need that. He was only staying at 130 to keep his WBO rating. What time are the big Saturday night fights here in the U.S. for you guys? The Saturday night fights in the U.S. here in Australia are Sunday morning. How confident are you in the Angelo fight? I'm confident could be, but when you look at Kameda, how could you be too confident when you're fighting a former world champion? He has 3 times the round experience. I think Kameda's a guy, even though he's 2 years older than Leo in terms of ring experience, this is a guy who was being propped up like a decade ago. He comes from a fighting family. He sparred Leo in the past in Mexico. He speaks fluent Spanish. Not that that matters in the ring, but he's done a lot in his career. He's only 33. On paper, you would think he was 40. Now, that goes against him with some people. They say he's, we've seen the best of him. So when you say how confident I am in Leo, Kameda could win this fight. What I've seen in terms of trajectory, a boxer's career has a lot to do with confidence. Leo coming off that huge knockout, him being the world champion. I think Leo's going to step up. I've watched the interviews he's given one this week. He's super professional. He keeps a low profile. He kind of lives like a samurai. I expect Leo to look just as good against Kameda, and I think Kameda's style is going to serve Leo's style. I'm expecting Leo to look electric. That's it. That to answer your question. I'm going with Willabaldo, Hughes, Leo, Takia, Nunes. Afro, I like those picks. Angela Leo's a dog. TJ, I agree. That's what I'm talking about. Where are you from? I'm from, I grew up in Youngstown, Ohio, but I went to, college in Pittsburgh, lived in Long Beach, California for 7 years, lived in Las Vegas for 2 years. Now I live in Sydney. Ever since Josh Taylor undisputed, he's never been the same. Very hard to judge. Yeah, I don't love it. There's certain things about Josh Taylor, even when he looked great. And don't get offended, guys. He's worshipped in Scotland. Even when Taylor looked great, I wasn't completely sold. Even when he was undefeated, there's things about him that I don't know. The head movement bothers me. We'll see what he looks like at 47. What was your question, Carpentry? I didn't see it. Kameda nickname means a little Mexicanito. Leo means the Chinese. Isn't that insane? Chinito and little Mexicanito. Like, come on, dude. It's insane. Taylor versus Essuman is hard to pick. Essuman always has entertaining fights. I just think Essuman hasn't fought anyone like Taylor in terms of their resume and their skill set. Elko is nothing more than you. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about when we talked about levels. Domestic style fighter. Sometimes he looks good against average opponents. Taylor, exactly. That's my reasoning. That's it. That's XG. That's my reasoning right there. And that's how you got to go. We can play, fortune teller, and we can act like we know everything. Stats don't lie, which I always say. And I I'm very confident in a lot of my picks based on the research I do, and that's one of the things that you got to ask yourself is what level are they fighting on, what level have they fought on, and what have they looked like recently, and what do they have to prove? You think Esteban's going to go to Scotland and beat Josh Taylor in a homecoming? I don't know, man. And I'm not saying that conspiratorially. I'm saying that there's something about that when you're fighting in front of these people, and a Scottish crowd is insane. So I'm excited about that card. And that's that McGregor Collins question. Both guys are Scottish. Who's going to feed better? We'll see. I also wasn't convinced seeing how he struggled versus Prograis. He lost every big fight. Most difficult weight class jump is boxing, 40 to 47. Yeah, when you look at guys moving up there, Taylor, I think I missed somebody's question. Ask again. Taylor Noodle wants to say boxing is a business. This is a comeback fight to get him in a world title shot. Echo isn't going to stop him. He has 38%. Almost got knocked out by a bum. Yeah, I'm comfortable with Josh Taylor winning that fight. Height, weight, basically does fighting like a small guy. Neutralize one punch power, distance management, footwork, athleticism. Okay, at height, weight, basically does fighting like a small guy get neutralized by one. Power is the great equalizer, carbon tree. Power in every weight class is but then you got to be accurate. Power is there. If you have power, you have to be accurate. You have to be able to land the punch and timing. I put timing over power as the equalizer. I always talk about you could have one punch knockout in your hands, but if you don't have timing, there's a lot of components to that. It's a really good question. Now, if you put it all together and you have the height and you have the weight, look at a guy like recently Seb Fundora, who has the height, or even his sister. I love watching Gabby Fundora fight because they have the height. And what Gabby at 21 years old is learning is her timing. She doesn't move a lot. Neither one of them have feet, but they use that height and that punch angle, and their timing is really good. And that timing then creates power. So it's a good question. You just have to know what you have physically, and it's up to your coaching staff too on how to drill that. The best coaches are able to bring the best out of a guy or a girl, what they have naturally. Willibaldo style would seem to suit Mexican location. Wow, man, with big, yeah. I can't wait for that fight. I'm still torn on that fight. I'm probably not going to be able to get to cover it with my videos. Guys, if you're new to the channel and you're just seeing this stream, I do videos. I'm editing, I'm doing film study, and I'm a one-man show, so it's tough for me to get all these fights. I've already done, it's Wednesday, I've done 4 of them so far. I did Hughes, Harper, Leo, and then I'm currently uploading the Nathaniel Collins versus Lee McGregor. Will Battle Style, we'll see how many locks for this week. Right now, locks, in terms of locks, 100%, I'm confident with 2 of them, and I'll let you know. But I'm going to build those locks up to probably 4 or 5 come Friday, which is your Thursday night. So, guys, my live stream for my locks will be Friday morning, Australia, America, Thursday evening. I'll put it in the post section. I always put a heads up on it. Guys, remember to like this video. Remember to comment. Let me know who you like. Let me know if you disagree with any of the fights. I appreciate it. Timing beats speed. Timing, punch, power, placement, body, work, neutralize power. Good ratio, Afro. I agree with mostly all that. Timing beats speed, timing and punch placement. And punch placement is super underrated. It's something nobody talks about. Punch placement is huge. And that's what separates professional fighters and street fighters. Guys, just think about videos you see idiots throwing haymakers with no technique on them. They're not even watching where those punches are going. I've heard people say Fundora is a height bully. Come on. How could you be a height bully? I don't even like the word bully. I like... In a societal sense, I think bullying is required for younger people to overcome. But in boxing, a bully, dude, that's a good thing. He's tall. What do you want him to do? Carbontree. Jay Toxic. Taylor was struggling to make 140 but didn't want to move the... Yeah, exactly. Because he probably doesn't feel comfortable moving up. That 7 pounds, guys, is a big thing. Like you said, somebody brought it up earlier. 40 to 47 isn't 26 to 30. You know what I'm saying? And look, when you look at the biggest guys at 47 versus the biggest guys at 40, usually the biggest guys at 40 were the biggest guys at 35. You know what I'm saying? So usually the biggest guys at 40 were the biggest guys at 35, but the biggest guys at 47 were big guys at 54. And that it's a tough jump. It's one of the things that when you see guys become champions at those smaller weight classes and they do it at a la Bud Crawford, 35, 40, and 47, it's impressive. It's impressive no matter what. Probably moving up. Afro, this is how Usyk was able to hurt Fury. Terry Harper versus Leo Collins, all money line. Yeah, I like it, Victor. I like it. That's what I got so far as well. I was saying I feel Taylor has been through too many wars. Yeah, and sometimes I don't like Taylor's body language either, but I just don't think Esteban's the guy to break him in this fight. I don't think so. I think he's going to get hurt. I don't think he's going to lose. I think Fedor is just scared to fight anyone at his natural weight or at a bigger height. What's Fedor, guys? Fedor doesn't cut a lot of weight though. It's not like he's a heavyweight at 6'5", cutting down to 54. He's not even that muscular. He's just tall and lanky. He hardly beat Tim when he couldn't even see. Yeah, I mean, I don't like playing boxing maths, but there's a lot of variables in that fight, right? And y'all expect him to move up and beat the champ after back-to-back losses, okay? Plus, Esserman is not the best, but he has a lot of physical strength. Yeah, I think a lot of boxing bettors, or a lot of fans, we could get kind of honey-dicked with like the physical stature, how a guy looks. Do you remember we covered Ngamasenge, the French guy, the French Congolese fighter, and Ngamasenge was fighting Janibek Elamhanele just a few weeks ago. And a lot of people were picking Ngamasenge. He had an undefeated record. He was bodied up, and I was like, you guys are out of your mind. This is boxing. This is not bodybuilding. Fucking Elamhanele is gonna beat that man. That's exactly what happened. We picked him to win and by stoppage. That was $1.84. So we've been on a hot one since back then, and that fight was only a few weeks ago. It seems like it was a year ago. It's crazy. Jay, I don't even see Tatter on Chicago. Yeah, I don't have it either, bro. It's in my notes because you keep asking me. Probably pointless. Yeah, I don't really blame them. This fight came out of nowhere. I like that you know that, though. Tatter on Shigoka. I like the video, guys. Johnny is a super hard worker. Let's give some up. Appreciate you, Victor. Whatever you guys could do, just like the video. That helps. It's 8:30 here. I got to get ready for a client. So, like I said, I have a private invite-only coaching I built in my house. So a lot of my clients are people learning boxing and strength and conditioning. So I coach powerlifting, squatting, deadlifting, etc. So I'm about to get to work for my Wednesday morning. Let's be real, though. Fedor is effective as he could. Yeah, fresh. 100% 5'10", so we know what happens to him. Yeah, but the thing is, he is effective, right? You can only fight with what you're given, God-given ability. And God gave him, we could quote, whatever you believe in, he has that height. And his style, the way his family made his style, perfect. Doesn't move back, just does enough. And he's young too, guys. He's just learning how to punch down. It's not natural for us to punch down. Like, I'm only 5'11", so like I don't ever have to punch down. You know what I'm saying? I'm always fighting bigger guys. I gotta punch up. So he's punching. It's a different thing too, man. And then his chin, he has to. I don't understand. I think he's fun to watch. I don't understand the hate on Fedor. Jin really wants it. Nunes should get the Vic. I don't think his opponent is a mover. Tattaron should pull it off. Fight has been made for Josh. Yeah, Sapphire, right? And this is why we make money in boxing, guys. Sapphire, great point. It's why boxing is a great sport. 33. I've hit 33 in a row on the money line. Based on that, once fight has been made for Josh Taylor to win, guys, we have to look at that when we're betting. That's one of those elements that you can't find on paper. We call it feeder fights growing up in Youngstown, Ohio. Feeder fights is when certain gyms will fight against certain gyms, but one gym is chosen to feed the other gym a win. I'm not saying Essuman's a feeder fight, but there is an element we have to ask ourselves, was this fight made for said fighter to win? It's in Scotland. It's his first fight at 47. It's the main event. Yeah, he's supposed to win this fight, guys. He can be knocked out by someone who specializes in overhands. Yeah, Afro. You know exactly. And I think, will Fedor go on, become one of the greatest of all times? I can't say that. I don't want to say yes or no to that. But when Fedor fights, will I watch? Yes. I like to see, can guys figure out that puzzle? Tim Tszyu almost had that puzzle figured out. He wasn't able to do it. That cut, it was hard to even watch when you watch Tim fight Murtazaev. You could see kind of like, for the lack of better terms, PTSD. And the first exchange against Murtazaev, Tim touches his head. It was like maybe 10 seconds into the fight. And he touches his head, and a lot of people go back to that moment. You could go to YouTube and watch it on saying why Tszyu won't be the same. Well, he has an opportunity. He looked all right against Joey Spencer, and we'll see against Fedor again. That fight's going down, guys. Tszyu versus Fedor is going down, and however many people want to say they're not happy about the fight, we're going to be tuning in. That's what makes his fights exciting. Make sure you all watch Tatter. Hand history vault. I'm sold on Shigoka versus Tattaron. Going to be a great rematch. Berlanga Hamza, who you got? I got Shiraz because he's in my eyes better skill fighters, perfect way from Jay Tonic. We talk about this almost every day. I love the energy this fight's getting. Shiraz is at 68 for the first time. We know Berlanga walks around 200 pounds. He's a bigger boy. He got the confidence. When that fight gets closer, which we're nearing, I'm going to give you my prediction. I told people that was a trap fight going in. Fresh BX, from knowing you for the last week or so, few weeks, you know you're boxing. Shiraz gonna fuck Berlanga. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun fight. Hopefully it doesn't turn into like a backwards fight. Hopefully these guys fight like this. I thought Shiraz lost against Adames. I thought Adames. Thank God they didn't take Adames' belt. But and he kind of faded a bit in that fight. He looked good early, but kind of faded. Adames was figuring him out. I think all Berlanga has to do is watch that tape and use that, and we'll see. We'll see if Shiraz has fixed that hole in his game. The Russian guy who beat Teofimo Stevenson a few times, fifth. Messi or Ronaldo. I don't watch soccer, no offense. I got Berlanga in that fight. I'm leaning that way too. I got Hamza. Oh, I like it. I like disagreements. Shiraz loss, moving up weight. Guys, you guys are beasts. Same got Shiraz. All right, guys, we're going on 36 minutes. I got to run. I got to get you the Lee McGregor and Nathaniel Collins fight. I got to get to the gym. I got to train. Stay tuned to the channel. Like this video, comment, share. I appreciate it. Go to the post section. I say the community section. If you want my parlays, the picks, I never charge you for them. I give them all for free. You can watch the history, how we're winning. You know, we've hit 33 picks in a row. Stay tuned to the channel. I do lives every day, and I appreciate you guys. Keep that chin down. Bing, bing, bing. That one.